What if you were the last person on Earth? It's a concept that's triggered countless books, TV shows, and movies. What if you were the last person on Earth?
Oh, yes! Yes!
It's a horrible thought, but not one that's impossible to happen. Imagine a world where a virus sweeps through the population, leaving only you, or a nuclear explosion where only you manage to escape. It's not so far-fetched when you think of it like that. So, you live in a city and you wake up late because the radio doesn't come on. Outside, there is only the sound of the wind and of the birds in the trees. The roar of jumbo jets coming into land is absent, and, most eerily of all, is the ever-present hum of traffic also gone. As the morning continues, you start to realize that you're the last person standing on Earth. So what would happen in this scenario? What's the first thing you'd need to do? What would you need to consider? Would it even be worth carrying on? So, your first thought might be the fact of absolute power. With no one opposing you, you're now the king or queen of the planet. A planet admittedly uninhabited apart from you, but still the feeling of absolute freedom would come into your mind. However, that would quickly be replaced by thoughts of survival. Survival experts have a priority of necessities. At the top are water, food, and shelter. With a whole planet of empty buildings, shelter shouldn't be a problem. Heating it with no working electricity network might be a higher priority. But before thinking about that, food and water is top of the list. A man can survive 6 weeks without food, but only 6 days without water. With no maintenance available, the pumping stations and treatment works that supply water to the taps would soon stop working. So you'd have to rely on that symbol of modern decadence, bottled water. If you broke into a large store, you might find several thousand gallons of the stuff, purified, sealed in handy storage containers. Those stores would also be really useful for food too. Sure, your choice wouldn't be great seeing as fresh food is out the window, unless you want to grow and pick it yourself. But luckily tinned food is preserved for years, so your food and water are covered, and you'd be okay in the short term. Long term, you'd want to get out of cities, as with no maintenance, they'd start to crumble. With no fire department, there's a very real threat that a lightning strike could set the whole place ablaze. Essentially, over the years, a city would become more of a hazard than a home. But the countryside isn't exactly safe either. Without staff to maintain nuclear power stations, a meltdown is possible at any moment, and that would render huge areas uninhabitable. Assuming you survive any fallout, hygiene would be an issue. If you chose to remain in the city, you would find the lack of main sewage and drainage a problem after only a few days, as the pumping stations failed, while rivers would probably be too polluted to bathe in. The only hot water would come from a stove, and washing yourself and your clothes would be a chore. At least you could raid clothes stores to your heart's content. Health would become one of the main concerns. Less people means less disease, but if you were to break a bone, there are no medical professionals to help you. You're on your own and would have to rely on books, as the internet would almost certainly collapse. Essentially, you would have to be incredibly resourceful to survive long term, but it wouldn't be impossible. Your big question with all this is, would you want to survive? Humans are social creatures, pack animals. We rely on each other to live physically, but most importantly, mentally. The realization that this basic need cannot be met might send you over the edge, and although you could have a house filled with jewels and riches, you'd probably swap it all for just one person to share it with. The chances are that you would lose your mind before your body. So there you have it. That's what would happen if you were the last person on Earth. Do you think you could cope? Let us know in the comments, and please like this video if you've enjoyed it. If you want to see more what if videos, then give us a subscribe. Thanks for watching.